Behind the world's financial system lies a name that few truly understand, but whose influence has shaped history for centuries. The Rothschilds, masters of wealth, power, and secrecy, have quietly controlled global markets, swaying the course of nations and wars. But how did one family manage to amass such untold power, and what are they hiding beneath the surface? The Rothschilds are often seen as one of the wealthiest and most influential families in the world, but their story is far more complex and far more controversial than most people realize. Spanning generations, they've built an empire that has extended far beyond simple banking. Behind their immense wealth lies a network of financial and political influence that has quietly shaped the world as we know it. But what exactly is their role in the hidden structures of global power? And how have they maintained their dominance for so long without ever truly stepping into the public eye? Today, we're going to uncover the history of the Rothschild family's wealth, from their rise to power in the 18th century to their complex web of banking, global influence, and the shadowy corners of their empire. In this video, we'll not only explore their financial empire, but also the conspiracy theories that have long surrounded their name. Are they just master bankers, or something far more elusive? For centuries, the Rothschilds have stood at the heart of global finance, controlling major banks across Europe, influencing international markets, and even shaping the outcome of wars. Yet, despite their immense power, they've managed to remain out of the public's direct view. How is it possible that such a powerful family has never fully revealed the extent of their wealth, their influence, or their role in global affairs? The very idea that one family could possess this much power seems almost unbelievable, yet the evidence is right before our eyes. The question is, how have they done it? The story of the Rothschild family begins with Meyer Amschel Rothschild, a Jewish financier who founded the family empire in the late 18th century. Born in 1744 in Frankfurt, Germany, Meyer's early life didn't suggest that he would one day control the financial fate of nations. However, his unique combination of business acumen, political savvy, and connection to European royalty helped him rise through the ranks of banking. Meyer Rothschild's journey started in humble beginnings, working as a money changer in Frankfurt. Over time, he made connections with powerful nobility and began lending small sums of money to them. By the 1770s, Meyer had built a reputation as a trusted financial intermediary. His breakthrough came when he was entrusted by the Elector of Hesse, one of the most powerful men in Europe at the time, to manage the ruler's finances. This would become the foundation of Meyer's fortune and mark the beginning of the Rothschild family's financial dominance. But it was the strategic placement of his 5 sons that truly transformed the Rothschild legacy. Meyer sent his sons to 5 major European cities: Frankfurt, London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples. In each of these cities, they opened their own banks, creating an unprecedented financial network that spanned across Europe. This was no ordinary banking system. It was a tightly knit family enterprise that held the power to control entire economies. By the early 1800s, the Rothschild banking houses were the most influential in Europe. They were not simply bankers. They were financiers of wars, politicians, and governments. During the Napoleonic Wars, for example, Meyer's son Nathan Meyer Rothschild, based in London, played a pivotal role in financing the British war effort against Napoleon. But it wasn't just about money, it was about influence. Nathan ensured that the British government had access to the funds necessary to sustain their military campaigns, making him one of the most powerful men in Britain, even though he operated largely behind the scenes. Meyer's other sons also made their mark. James Rothschild, based in Paris, was instrumental in financing the French government during the tumultuous years following Napoleon's defeat. Meanwhile, Salomon Rothschild in Vienna was a key player in Austrian finance, particularly during the Congress of Vienna in 1815, when European powers redrew the continent's political map after Napoleon's fall. In this way, the Rothschilds managed to establish an international financial empire that spanned much of Europe, creating vast wealth while quietly shaping European politics and economies. Their family-controlled banking system became the backbone of European finance, allowing them to dictate terms to governments and gain unprecedented influence over political events. While the Rothschilds' banking empire was undeniably vast, their influence didn't stop there. The family recognized early on that to maintain power, they needed to diversify into other industries. They didn't just control money, they controlled resources. This foresight allowed them to dominate sectors like railroads, mining, and even the emerging oil market. In the 19th century, the Rothschilds made strategic investments in the burgeoning railroad industry. They funded the construction of railways in Europe and America, controlling crucial transportation routes that facilitated trade and the movement of goods across vast distances. In addition, their investments in industries like steel and coal further solidified their economic power. Perhaps one of their most significant investments, however, came in the form of oil. The Rothschilds were among the earliest financiers of the oil industry, especially in the United States. They saw the potential of oil before it became a dominant global resource and moved quickly to secure interests in American oil companies. The Rothschild family had a hand in founding some of the first oil companies, which would later grow into global giants like Standard Oil. These investments were not just about making money, they were about controlling the means of production and the flow of resources that powered the global economy. The Rothschilds understood that wealth didn't simply come from banking, it came from owning the resources that others depended on. By the turn of the 20th century, the Rothschilds were entrenched in nearly every major industry from energy to transportation to infrastructure. While the Rothschilds had grown immensely wealthy through their banking and industrial interests, their influence didn't stop at the economic sphere. They also played a crucial role in shaping global politics, especially during times of war. Throughout history, the Rothschilds have been accused of secretly financing both sides in major conflicts, including the Napoleonic Wars, the American Civil War, and World War I. The family's involvement in global conflicts is most famously associated with the Napoleonic Wars, when Nathan Rothschild was instrumental in financing Britain's military efforts against Napoleon. But the Rothschilds didn't just lend money, they also controlled the flow of information. They were said to have had an extensive network of spies, couriers, and agents that ensured they had access to vital intelligence. This allowed them to make informed financial decisions, ensuring that their investments were always protected, no matter which side won the war. The most famous example of Rothschild influence during a war came during the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Nathan Rothschild, who had already established himself as the financier of the British war effort, is rumored to have received information about Napoleon's defeat before anyone else. He is said to have used this information to manipulate the stock market in London, buying up British government bonds at a fraction of their value. Once the news of Napoleon's defeat became public, the price of these bonds skyrocketed, and Rothschild made a massive fortune. Whether or not this story is entirely true, it highlights the Rothschilds' ability to profit from global conflicts. In later years, the Rothschilds continued to exert influence over international wars and conflicts. They are believed to have played a role in financing the Allied powers during World War I, and their banking empire was crucial in funding the reconstruction efforts after the war. But their power didn't just lie in their ability to finance military operations. It was in their ability to shape the very outcomes of these conflicts. As the 20th century progressed, the Rothschilds' influence in global banking began to shift. The family's empire was no longer as central to the global financial system as it had been in the 19th century, but they remained highly influential, holding significant stakes in major banks, financial institutions, and industries. Today, the Rothschild family still controls an array of financial assets, though their direct influence over global economies has diminished. The family's wealth is now more spread out, with various branches of the family controlling different parts of the Rothschild business empire. Yet, despite the diversification of their interests, the Rothschilds remain one of the wealthiest families in the world. In recent years, conspiracy theories about the Rothschilds have surged, with some claiming that they still secretly control the global financial system. While much of this speculation is rooted in mistrust and misinformation, there's no denying the family's historical influence on global finance and politics. Even in the 21st century, the Rothschild name carries with it an aura of power, wealth, and secrecy. Despite their continued wealth and influence, the Rothschilds have managed to maintain an air of mystery around their operations. Much of their wealth is held in private trusts, foundations, and family-controlled companies, making it difficult for outsiders to understand the full scope of their assets. The Rothschilds have also remained largely out of the public eye. Unlike other wealthy families, they rarely engage in public displays of wealth or charity. Instead, they quietly support causes that align with their interests, such as banking reforms, the preservation of their family's legacy, and the promotion of their business interests. This enigmatic presence only fuels the fascination with the Rothschild family, leading many to believe that they are still pulling the strings behind the scenes, controlling the flow of money, resources, and information. Whether or not this is true is anyone's guess, but the family's ability to remain so powerful while staying largely in the shadows is perhaps their greatest triumph. The Rothschild family has built an empire that spans centuries, deeply embedded within the world's financial infrastructure. They've played a pivotal role in shaping modern banking, global finance, and even the outcomes of wars. While much of their influence remains shrouded in secrecy, their legacy is undeniable. Whether or not you believe in the conspiracy theories surrounding their name, it's clear that the Rothschilds have had a profound impact on the course of history. But perhaps the most intriguing question of all is this: how much control does the Rothschild family still wield today, and how much of it is hidden in the shadows? If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world.